My son came home crying because his teacher told him, "Poor kids don't go to college." When Jake walked through the door with tears streaming down his face, I knew something was seriously wrong. He dropped his backpack and just stood there, shaking. I pulled him into the kitchen and asked what happened. That's when he told me what Mrs. Baldwin said during class discussion about future careers. Jake raised his hand and said he wanted to be a doctor. She looked right at him and said, "Poor kids don't go to college, honey. Maybe think about something more realistic." I felt my blood pressure spike. Jake was in 3rd grade, 8 years old, and already being told his dreams were too big for his wallet. I called the school immediately and demanded a meeting. The principal, Mr. Roberts, scheduled me for the next day but brushed it off like kids misunderstand things. That night, I made a decision. I pulled out my laptop and started researching everything I could about college scholarships, grants, and programs for low-income families. I printed out pages and pages of information. Full rides to Harvard for kids from families making under $30,000 a year, state programs that covered tuition completely, merit scholarships that didn't care about your parents' bank account. The next morning, I walked into that meeting with a thick folder. Mrs. Baldwin sat there looking smug, ready to explain how children need realistic expectations. I slammed the folder on the table and started reading off scholarship names. The Jack Kent Cook Foundation, full ride plus living expenses. The Gates Scholarship covers everything for minority students. Questbridge partners with Stanford, Yale, Princeton. Her face started changing. I kept going. Did you know that kids from families making under $65,000 get free tuition at Harvard? That Columbia has a program where families making under $60,000 pay nothing? That Princeton covers full tuition for families making under $100,000? She tried to interrupt, but I wasn't done. My son scored in the 95th percentile on his reading assessment. His math scores are off the charts, but you looked at his free lunch form and decided his future for him. Mr. Roberts cleared his throat uncomfortably. Mrs. Baldwin mumbled something about being practical and managing expectations. I leaned forward. The only thing unrealistic here is thinking you can crush a kid's dreams at 8 years old. I pulled out my phone and showed them Jake's latest report card. All A's. Perfect attendance. Teacher comments about his curiosity and work ethic from his previous teachers. This kid asks me about how the heart works during dinner. He checks out medical books from the library. But sure, tell him he's not college material. The meeting ended with Mrs. Baldwin agreeing to apologize to Jake and the principal, promising to have a discussion with staff about encouraging all students. But I wasn't finished. That weekend, I took Jake to the local university's open house. We toured the medical school, talked to professors, met current students. One pre-med student was from a family of farm workers. Another grew up in foster care. Jake's eyes lit up hearing their stories. On Monday, Jake went back to school with a new project. He'd made a poster about famous doctors who grew up poor. Ben Carson, whose family was on food stamps. Alfredo Quinones Hinojosa, who started as a migrant farm worker. He presented it to his class and talked about his dream of becoming a doctor. Mrs. Baldwin had to sit there and listen to my 8-year-old teach her about perseverance and possibility. After class, 3 other kids came up to Jake asking about college. Turns out half the class had been told similar things about their dreams being unrealistic. 2 weeks later, Jake came home excited. Mrs. Baldwin had started a new unit called Dream Jobs, where kids researched their career goals and the education needed. She brought in guest speakers from different professions, including a doctor who grew up in poverty. But the real victory came at parent-teacher conferences. Mrs. Baldwin pulled me aside and admitted she'd been wrong. She said watching Jake research and present had made her realize how her assumptions were limiting her students. She'd started looking into resources for college preparation and had already helped 2 other families find information about educational programs.